Good morning. It's turned out nice again. Hey, I tell you what, guys. 24 degrees. It's forecast here today. That's not bad, is it? I've got the shorts on. Shorts are on. Yeah, nice one, man. Yeah, but it was very hot last night in my bedroom. Not because there was any hanky-panky or anything. But yeah, it's a glorious day outside. So it looks like winter is over for us guys, at least. So I'm sure I'll be sat out by the pool later having a cup of Yorkshire tea biscuit brew. That's right. If you can hear funny noises below me, it is Remy, who is my rescue dog. It's nothing else. So thanks to those of you that came along on Saturday night to the stream. I really do appreciate the support you gave me, especially Jack Hughes, who was really supportive that night and helped a brother out. So I do appreciate that. And of course, everybody else, the usual suspects. That contributed and made the night a good one as ever. I was a little bit more tipsy than usual, I think, on Saturday, but that's probably because it had been a rough week. And Liverpool lost as well. We had a good phone-in conversation with Seano and Adam Naylor, who's got a great YouTube channel. I think it was about 3 hours long. I don't know. Maybe that's why I got a bit tipsy. Maybe they pushed me over the edge. I don't know, but it was a good night. Really, really good. Quite a few people have suggested we should do a podcast. That's something that, I'm thinking about doing. I'd like, the boys are up for it, but I struggle with time as it is. So as long as one of those two can get it online or something. I don't know, you have to let me know if you fancy that. Adam Naylor's got a great YouTube channel. You should go and check it out, discussing LFC. He's the only YouTube person, creator, whatever you want to call them, that I watch to do with Liverpool. Same with podcasts. I don't touch anything else. But I do like Adam. He's a young lad, and his heart's in the right place. So go and check him out. But yeah, I think the three of us would be good on a podcast. I was thinking about it this morning, actually. Like maybe on a Friday or something at the end of the week, reviewing everything. But yeah, talking of podcasts, I've got my own podcast to take care of today. The KopTalk podcast and also the Dunk Knows Best podcast will be updated, hopefully. I've got a few things to do. I've just moved my desk around. I'm recording this on a new phone, so I don't know what this is going to be like. What else have we got to consider? There's a possibility I might be doing another podcast as well, nothing to do with football, with someone else. It's very it's subject to a few things at the moment, but we'll think about that later. Don't know why I'm telling you that, really. That should be on the Dunk Knows Best. I don't know, I'm waffling. Okay, so we obviously have Real Madrid coming up. And, I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that ahead of that game. Have you got any confidence going into that game? I mean, football's a funny thing, innit? When you think of that 7-0 hammering of the enemy. Then you lose at Bournemouth. But after that game where we beat Manchester United, so many of you guys went, yeah, great, but we'll lose 1-0 to Bournemouth now. That's what it's always like. So we can beat Real Madrid. We can, guys, we can, but it just depends which Liverpool side turns up. Some people tried to suggest that the defeat at Bournemouth was down to, John Henry's negative comments. He came out, didn't he, after the plane was flown over, and... people are saying, well, it's because the players heard what we heard and they were all... I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think the players get the money. I do think that long-term, plans... sorry. I do think that long-term plans, ambitions and things like that do have a bearing on the players, of course. But that's, another thing. I don't want to use every opportunity to criticise the owners. I was out with my friends on Friday evening. As you know, I go and see the boys every Friday for a few hours. Two of them are Liverpool fans and one's an Arsenal fan. And when I brought up the FSG outplane, for one of the Liverpool fans, Steve, said, who were FSG, and my Arsenal supporting friend was like, so let's get this right. Liverpool are really successful again, but the fans want a change of ownership. So it just shows you how people, if they're not, hardcore online, social media and things like that, they don't necessarily know who the owners are and how people feel, which is a good thing. I think that's great, and I've mentioned this before in podcasts and videos over the last few weeks, especially that, you know, there is a lot of people out there that will turn up at Anfield to watch the game, and some of them people won't know who the owners of the club are. And I tell you what, I really miss those days. I really do. So, you know, I suppose it is more like casual fans. Someone mentioned, you know, the people that watch Match of the Day are now considered more casual fans. That's who that's targeted for. Obviously, Match of the Day's been, you know, a talking point because of Gary Lineker. Have you got any thoughts on Gary Lineker? To be honest with you, hey, just a minute. Oi, you mind? To be honest with you, I'm not really bothered about Gary Lineker's views on things. It's very easy for people, you know, in a more wealthier position that can get doctor's appointments and things like that to have a certain view compared to people that maybe struggle to see a doctor and things. And, you know, a lot of these doctor's surgeries claim, apparently, that there's just so many people now. I don't know. I don't live in England. I don't agree with illegal immigrants in any country, you know. Like, I live in Spain, but I've got to comply with their laws. If I turn up here and if I don't have the right documentation, if I can't satisfy, you know, there he is. If I can't satisfy, you know, the government here that I can support myself and have every right to be here, etc., then they wouldn't give me residency. Fortunately, I've got residency. But the point is, you know, I've tried to do everything legally in the 16 or so years that I've been here. I've thought many times about going living in America, but it's extremely difficult to do if you want to be legal. So, you know, I ultimately, at the end of the day, he's climbed up saying there now, below the camera, behave. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I will help anyone that needs help, you know. So someone genuinely coming to England for help should absolutely be looked after, in my opinion, right? You know, like, where are these imaginary borders? Who decides on them, right? But a lot of these people appear to be economic migrants, you know, and there's a difference, you know. So I think Gary Lineker was wrong to bring in 1930s Germany as a comparison with a government policy, regardless of how much, you know, you might hate the Conservative Party or the government in place or whatever, whichever government is in power. You know, they have every right to decide who comes in and out of the country legally. He's chewing his leg now. I think what pushed it with Gary Lineker was the 1930s, you know, the Nazi reference and that, because I think that can be quite offensive to certain groups of people, obviously. However, to be honest, I was more disappointed with, like, all these, like, football commentators and that, like, saying we're not doing it, you know, we're not doing the commentary with solidarity and all that. And I just think, you know, that's all right, you know, stay loyal with your pals or whatever, but, like, we don't really care about you, do you know what I mean? I don't. And I just think there's so many people out there that are not in, you know, wealthy positions or, you know, that don't have a great job and that would bite their hand off to do that, you know. And the other thing is, I will say this, is whatever, you know, position you're employed in life, whether you're self-employed or whether you work for someone, you can't just go on social media and say what you want. There's no such thing as free speech. You know what I mean? Like, in theory, free speech is a nice thought, but, you know, I know a lad that's is a self-employed photographer, and he would never express his true opinions, which are not hate opinions, because he would be, it would risk, you know, his employment, jobs, you know, opportunities and things like that. You know, I know people that are police officers and teachers and things, and they don't go on social media and say things in case it upsets their employers at school, for example. So the Lineker thing is kind of like really strange because he, you know, obviously works for the BBC and he's the biggest personality at the BBC, and people are always going to say he's the BBC, whether he's contracted or employed by them or not. Excuse me. Oi! Stop chewing your leg. He's breakdancing and giving it rock all his Rebbe. So and there has to be consistency with the BBC, because there's been people that have been on the BBC as presenters that have made, you know, opinions or whatever, and the BBC said, well, he's not, you know, he doesn't commentate on politics or the news, so what he does is, you know, there has to be consistency, and it should be in their contracts, right? you are seen as, representing this organisation, whatever. I don't know, right? To be honest, I don't really care about it. Oi! Making a vid. Thank you. But I just think, I have no patience for it. I just think, just get on with it. There's more important things in the world to be worried. People, getting blown to bits in Ukraine and all that because of Putin, and I've seen some horrendous footage, guys, trust me. And all we're worried about is some, lefty lovey on the BBC, and these commentators and interview. It's just like, who cares about Lineker, Wright, Shearer and all that? They've got enough money to do what they want. They can turn around to their employees and go, we're not coming in. How many ordinary people can say that? So, but let me get this right. I think Lineker should be able to have an opinion, but there needs to be some sort of, consistent guidelines, I think, from the BBC. Or better off altogether, just ask the BBC. People are using this as, I'm a taxpayer, I pay that licence, that tax to watch the television for the BBC, I'm not having him doing this. And the only thing is, not the only thing, but one thing that bothers me about this is the people that are kind of sharing my views on it are the people that I really wouldn't want to be associated with. So you've got your people like Nigel Farage and stuff like that trying to latch onto it. Certain Conservative MPs, that are, you would consider further to the right than maybe the majority of them. People, I don't know, there's a lad on Twitter, I can't remember his name, Grimes, is it, or something? Just awful people that, a lot of people would deem racist maybe, or hiding away behind politics, but they've got that racist vibe. So it's awful to kind of like, I'm like, I understand, like, I don't want to agree with, I don't know about the government, I just want to say, like, yeah, well, there's got to be a solution to the illegal immigration, right? But that means then I don't want to be put into a bracket with them people, that the sort of people that would say, sink the boats, do this, do that. And I know some of you watching this will feel like that. That's all right. It's all your own opinions. Me, I'm just like, there has to be a solution. But I just hate being put in a bracket of, well, you are this or that. Then nobody says that, but that's how it feels. Like, you get Nigel Farage going on there saying, this is good. I just think, no. And that other clown that was editor of the Sun newspaper back at Hillsborough, Kelvin Mackenzie, is it? Have you ever seen his Twitter account? I've seen his Twitter account. It doesn't mean that you support someone if you follow something. I don't think I follow him anyway. But what I mean is, a lot of things, like, I'm quite a deep person when it comes to like psychology and why people do things and say things. So when he oversaw the headline of the Sun newspaper at the Hillsborough disaster, that resulted in the boycott and everything, I tried to, many years later now as an adult, if you like, because I was 14, 15 at Hillsborough, as an adult, I tried to work out like, well, like I always try to give someone the benefit of the doubt. Always. That's just the sort of person I am in life. So, I'll always think, did they make a mistake? Because I've made mistakes over the years on KopTalk, especially when I was younger, But I look at him, and I thought, what was he thinking? Because I don't think he's ever apologised. And if he has, it won't have been honest, in my opinion. But if you look at his extreme, extremism is someone that I would put him into. When you look at being on the right in politics, extreme. And they're just like, they say so much that is like, ooh, but it's just not enough to hang them. Do you know what I mean? And convict them, if you know what I mean. And when you see people like him saying, well, I would sack a lot of them, that have stood in solidarity with Lineker and that, which is like, I'm a bit like that, because I just think, I can't be doing with you, just get rid of him. If you don't want to work, just go, give it to someone that wants a job, you know what I mean? That's why I'm like that. But then when you see someone like that saying something that you probably think, it's like, oh God, no, I don't want to be in that company. Does that make sense, guys? It's awful, really. I don't know. But you can't say anything today anyway. Anyway, so the Lineker thing, let me know about Lineker. It sounds like it's going to be all resolved today. He should be back on TV at the weekend. I didn't see Match of the Day at the weekend. I never watch it. And that's another funny thing. The amount of people I've said, did you watch Match of the Day at the weekend? I was on the Xbox yesterday, which I tend to do on a Sunday with the boys, Smooth and that, and Martin and my cousin Neil. We were on there, and I said to Neil and Stu, because they're really they're younger lads, and they're really into the football. They do all the fantasy football things and stuff like that. They're hardcore. And I said to them, I said, what do you think of Match of the Day last night, Saturday night? They were like, don't watch it. So many people say they don't watch Match of the Day anymore. My cousin Neil, he said, he went, oh, well, it's Sky, I've got it all straight away, so I watched that. So for me as a kid growing up, the Match of the Day music, it reminds me of my granddad, reminds me of being a very young boy, the family that we had at the time, many of them that are not around anymore. And Match of the Day is it's just one of those Saturday night things, I remember as a kid, or maybe as a young man in my early 20s, I might think, right, I'm going to get taken, I'm going to watch Match of the Day now, stuff like that. But that's gone now. I never watch it because we have got so much, access media, haven't we? Whether it's social media, whether it's satellite companies, internet, whatever, we can see what we want to see. He fell off the set, you absolute spaz. Oh, I'm not sure I can say that. So there was, I think they said the viewing figures were up 25% to around 2.5 million on Saturday. Normally it's about 2 million, which isn't very high, is it really? Although some people would say, well, Saturday night, 2 million is a lot of people. I don't know. But these people that were trying to capitalise on the downfall of Lineker and that, they're all like, yeah, look, it shows we don't need him because it was up, the viewing figures were up. But I mean, that's just like people being inquisitive and like, well, what's going on then? Let's have a look at it. Apparently it was terrible. I don't know. I really don't care about Gary Lineker, to be honest. I've got to be honest with you, I find him an hypocrite. I find a lot of them hypocrites. They were quite happy to go to Qatar and take the money when they were out there and all that. But then the BBC got Lineker to do what's it called? Is it prologue? Is it a prologue or is it? I don't know, but one of them things where they do that little waffle. And, so that became political. I bet they don't do that in America when the World Cup's there and complain about racial injustice in that country. Now, women, the abortion laws in certain states and things like that, and the death penalty, how they execute people over there. They won't mention any of that, but they did it for Qatar. So that's like hypocrisy on the BBC's part, isn't it? Because they want him to do it then, but they don't want him to have an opinion elsewhere. Now, with Lineker, he is too, for me, I find him an hypocrite, not just because of they go and take the money from these, who is it, Gary Neville, when he went out there, didn't he, and did all that, and they'll say, oh, it's because we're creating awareness and everything. We'll do it for free then. I'll give you money to charity if you're not bothered about it. But Lineker, you remember he was caught up in that massive tax avoidance scheme, and this is get down. He's going to start running around now. He's a real playful mood. He was caught up in that massive tax avoidance scheme, yeah? And these are your socialists or whatever that believes that everyone should be looked after, which I believe, by the way. When people fall in hard times, they should be looked after. But they're quite happy to take millions out of the government's purse, if you like, which affects the NHS and things like that. I just think it's all hypocrisy. And it's very easy when you're secure financially to have an opinion about anything. You can say what you want, can't you? It doesn't affect me, but that's what's happening with people coming in on boats if I can't get to the doctor because I'll just go private, stuff like that. It's total hypocrisy. And, again, I reckon the majority of you people that are watching this, someone told me off for saying you people the other day. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to, I can't address everyone individually. You guys, I prefer that to be, you guys, the majority of you, I reckon you can't just turn around to your employees and I said, you know what, I've got an opinion about this, I'm not coming in to fix it. You know what I mean? Be like, well, you're gone then. So, I think Lineker should be able to say what he says, but just don't bring the Nazis into it, because I know that has offended a lot of people. So anyway, what else have we got to talk about briefly? I will be doing a video for the channel members on here. I've got something about Bellingham for you. I don't know if I'll get it done today. It might be tomorrow. That'll be for the channel members and obviously the KopTalk VIP members. So you know, it's just I'm very conscious that I need to look after my peoples that make this possible. Is there anything else I need to run by you? No, I want to know your thoughts about Lineker. I want to know what you think about the Real Madrid game. Cut it out. Lineker, Real Madrid. Have you got any post thoughts about Bournemouth? The ownership situation is. I don't know about that. We'll have a look. I haven't even turned the computer on yet. What else was I going to say? That Ben Jacobs, he was on. I saw him flash up on Twitter today, commentating on one of the news channels about Lineker, and I just thought he's everywhere now, isn't he? He's everywhere, isn't he, guys? And do you know what? I think that's off the back of all the Liverpool for sale, not for sale investment speculation that he's contributed to. I think if you're an up and coming freelance journalist and you can latch on to the Liverpool Football Club fan base and give them hope and interest, maybe the fan bases of other clubs like Manchester United, you've cracked it. You've absolutely cracked it. Because if you get hundreds of thousands of followers, they're going to be retweeting you, blah, blah, blah. I bet the majority of you guys couldn't even mention, didn't even know who Ben Jacobs was before Liverpool Football Club was apparently put up for sale. Now, every time I turn television, he's on there talking about something. Do you know what I mean? Not convinced by him, I've got to be honest. Nothing personal, he might be a right nice lad, but I think I can see through him, just saying. What else have we got? No, that's it. I think that's it. I just wanted to make a video, tell you I'm a bit more, upbeat than I was last week. Not that anything's resolved, really, but just got to crack on with stuff. The cat came back, obviously, on a Friday night after I'd been to the pub. Went to the pub on Friday, totally depressed. Lots of drinks. Came home thinking the cat was dead, and there it was. So that was nice, I guess. Although I let her stay inside last night and she pissed and shit in the lounge, so she'll be outside tonight. Who the fuck if she goes missing or not? Well, I mean, anyone pissing and shitting in my lounge, guys, that's not acceptable, is it? Little bastard. Right then, so you can't see over here, but just on the other side there is my workstation, yes. That's where I'll be working today, and I've turned it round. I've turned this. I've got the biggest desk you've ever seen in your life, and I've managed to turn it all round this morning, and everything is unplugged and needs plugging in. And it's going to be one of those, do you know what I mean, where you just get everything right and you push it all back together again, and then you go to use something later and it's not plugged in. It's like, oh my God, I've got to undo it all again. So you know that I'm facing that, but we'll crack on with that. I don't think I've got anything to tell you. There was quite a bit of, there's been quite a few rumours, I've noticed, an increase of rumours regarding potential signings. I think Ben Jacobs is behind one of them. Fabrizio Romano, Mo Salah, he's chipping in again. So there's quite a few things that we might touch on today. We'll see. I've got so much to do, but I'm going to try and update the podcast. Please give me your thoughts on Lineker, Real Madrid, Bournemouth, anything else that you want to chime in with that might inspire me to make another video, because to be honest with you, I haven't looked at the news really this morning yet. It's still early, and I wasn't sure what to talk to you about today. And that's it. So, and if you are a channel member, thank you so much. The information's in the video description if you would like to support a brother. I do need your support more than ever at the moment, and that is reality. on that front. Oh my God. Dear me. Yeah, but we'll get there. Soon with the summer and things should pick up then. Wouldn't it be nice if we could have some happy things to talk about? Have you seen my little coffee machine? Do you remember I made a video? Well, I mentioned it in a video recently. This is my work kitchen. I like this little area in here. Well, I say little. This, you won't believe how big it is in here. We've got a couple of tellies. We've got all the IPTV. My friend's, not mine, obviously. We've got satellite feeds. We've got all them computers and screens over there. We've got a couple of sofas, guys, casting couches and that. We've got a nice table over there for eating at. We've got beautiful little work surface here below me, and hobs and that never get used unless someone's here cooking me something. This is just like my work room, really, this one. And I really like it. And obviously we've got the CCTV up there, so I can see what's going on when I'm not here. Do you know what I mean? And we've got a cracking fit neighbour over there that's cleaning a yard. It's just the way she's holding that brush. So that's the good thing about living here, guys. The weather's getting better now, yeah? And so it's getting hotter and that. And I'm surrounded by all these beautiful Spanish women. I was going to say girls, but it wouldn't sound right. And they, they look good in the bikinis, you know what I'm saying? Right then. Oh, one more thing, very, very final thing. Do you remember I've been having a nightmare with my videos getting wrongly identified for swearing, profanity and things like that? Just before the weekend, YouTube, they have what's called YouTube, is it Creators Insider or something? I don't know. But basically it's YouTube and they've got the channel on YouTube. It's not the YouTube channel, it's a part of it. And they put a video out last week, just towards the end of last week, saying we got it wrong with profanity in the videos, which I think they changed in November. Because my video style's not really changed. I mean, obviously I'm not doing I'm not ranting and raving at the moment, but they changed it. What you could and couldn't say in videos. So it wasn't just me that was affected. It was a massive issue, and they said we have listened, kind of thing. So hopefully that we shouldn't be having any more problems with that. Ironically, you can swear in a video, but it will get limited if you swear in the first 15 seconds. Yeah, mental, innit? All right, that's your lot for now. Let me know if you had a good weekend, how you're feeling. I want to know from you, hear from you guys. Again, thanks to those of you that came to the stream on Saturday night. It was as good as ever. I really enjoyed it. We've got a special community here, and I really do appreciate all of you that participate in it. And also, what's the video and audio like? It's a different phone. All right, guys, speak to you in a bit. All right.